Hello, my name is Julian Cardona, and today I'm going to be talking to you about why it is important to use arguments in public speaking. Before this class, I used to think that the word argument was only used to define things like a conversation that I have with my wife about whose turn it is to wash the dishes that night. But through the study of the different resources we have in this class, I have realized that the word argument has a more valuable meaning than just a common argument. The first thing that has to be done in order to tackle this question is to ask ourselves, what is public speaking? It is something that has been present since the sophists in Greece and Roman orators, which we saw in Toy's book. So it must be an important aspect of our lives. According to Laura Spencer from Envato.com, public speaking is a presentation that gives life before an audience. Public speeches can cover a wide variety of different topics, and the goal of the speech may be to educate, entertain, or influence the listeners. We can see in this definition that in public speeches there is a goal, and it's to create an effect on the listeners, to create a reaction. And regardless of what that reaction is, we have to use something in order to be able to achieve it. And this is where arguments and rhetoric come in. In the book Thank You for Arguing by Heinrich, he says that rhetoric is the art of influence, friendship, and eloquence, of ready wit and irrefutable logic, and it harnesses the most powerful of social forces, argument. Whether you censor or not, arguments surround you. It plays with your emotions, changes your attitude, talks you into a decision, and goes you to buy things. Arguments lie behind political labeling, advertising, jargon, voices, gestures, and guilt trip. It forms a real life matrix, the supreme software that drives our social lives. And rhetoric serves as an argument decoder. This quote is very interesting because it shows us the connection between rhetoric and arguments. Um, you need both to make an effective public speech because the use of rhetorical devices can help drive an argument to its goal, which is to impact the audience in some way or another. This also helps differentiate between written and oral arguments, like the University of Pittsburgh webpage says. Oral arguments intimately involves the human body. Pitch, rate, gesture, and tone of voice are all forms of nonverbal communication that introduce the potential for misunderstanding. And this is where rhetorical devices come in handy. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you act, all help drive the argument to your audience and not make it a monotone and boring presentation. And now I'm going to move to the base of our speech, which is to talk about why arguments are important to public speech. Vincent Ferraro and Catherine C. Palmer from Mount Holyoke College say that there is no reason to give a speech unless one has an argument to make. We typically deliver a speech because we believe that we have something of importance to say to give to an audience, and because we have reason to believe that the audience wishes to be informed of our point of view. There are formal definitions of an argument, but it is better to regard an argument as nothing more than an explanation of why one believes something to be true. Like the quote says, there are many definitions to arguments, but I think this one is very simple and concise. Summarizes well what an argument is for, and it is basically what we use in order to be able to make our point to the audience, and it leads to what Heinrich calls the grand prize of public speaking, and is a consensus amongst the public. The last thing that I want to talk about is the what is the purpose of arguments? And according to the University of Maryland, argument has two purposes. It is used to change people's points of view or persuade them to accept new points of view and to persuade people to a particular action of new behavior. There are also some other points of view that are presented by the University of Pittsburgh, which are to clarify thinking as individuals or groups and to explain or defend actions or beliefs. There are many more purposes that can be talked about, but I think that these four are very important because they are similar to what we talk in class. When writing our arguments, we have to think of how we can benefit the audience and help them understand and even change their point of view in regards to what we are presenting to them. And this requires for us to make effective arguments and use effective rhetorical devices and presentation skills to engage with audience because you can have great arguments but deliver them badly and end up achieving nothing. That's why when you have these purposes in mind, you can make a more powerful argument and help the audience get your point easier. To conclude, I would like to say that even though arguments are important for public speaking and they help us achieve our goal to deliver our ideas to audiences, we as Christians know that we are sinful and fallen beings. And like Schultze says, all arguments have weakness and contrary arguments. We know that we are all broken individuals, simultaneously saints and sinners, as Martin Luther King Jr. put it. We know that God is the only perfect and good, being. So even our best arguments will have flaws on it, and this is fine. We have to learn how to make the best possible arguments for our beliefs, our ideas, and in this way present them effectively to a public. Thank you very much.